Hola. Em, sí, hola. Aquí estoy yo. Bienvenidos a un nuevo video para el canal. ¿Por qué hablo así? Y el día de hoy me tardó como 2 días en hacer este video. No, más bien uno, porque el video que vamos a reaccionar hoy salió ayer. Y pues digamos que estaba pues ocupado. Fui a fui al foro con mi papá para ver la orquesta de The Legend of Zelda, el cual ya subí un short, pero todavía no termino de subir el resto. Así que pues vamos a darle, vamos a reaccionar a Cell versus Metal Sonic, Dragon Ball versus Sonic the Hedgehog. ¿A quién le debería?
Cell versus Metal Sonic.
Which copycat android is truly the superior model?
Chinga.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win
Dejen
a
de
death battle.
spoilear.
There's a monster stalking Gingertown. No
Gingertown.
one who's seen it
Ah,
has lived
Dragon
to
Ball.
tell the tale. All it left behind was their clothes. Something ate these people's insides, leaving only a shadow behind.
Some kind of creature driven only by the need to feed. Earth's new apex predator, the ultimate life form.
The Namekian Piccolo went to investigate this manslayer and discovered that it was intelligent. Its
Wow.
tail could unravel to absorb its hapless victims and
máquina.
add their energy to its wretched gestalt.
But the nightmare was only just beginning, because
Esa
for
es
its
la
last
verdadera
trick,
forma de Cell.
somehow this freak of nature knew the Kamehameha.
The mystery of this creature's origin was decades in the making. Years ago, the world was terrorized by the most advanced paramilitary organization in history, the Red Ribbon Army.
Until they got rocked by this little kung fu gremlin,
Goku.
Son Goku.
Ah,
But
Son
Red
Goku.
Ribbon's
Yo no me
dream
sé
of revenge lived
Dragon
on within
Ball.
their head scientist, Dr. Giro.
Hiding away in his spooky cave laboratory, Giro would go to work studying the Z fighters from afar, learning everything
Nice.
there was to know about them.
And building a series of androids that would destroy his spiky-haired nemesis once and for all.
He made a ton of them: infinite energy androids, key absorbing androids, trucker head androids, and even ginger androids.
However, none of Giro's creations were capable of matching that drive to improve that Goku and his fellow martial artists possessed.
Luckily, he had one more android left. A cute little booger so complex he'd take years after Giro's death to complete. Its name was Cell.
Born
no
from
sé,
a single
no sé si
cell,
ya valió.
get it? This android
¿Cómo,
possessed
cómo?
the
Was Cell.
Born from a single cell, get it?
Wow.
This android possessed the genetic
Nació-
information of
Cell
all the
se llama
greatest
Cell
warriors
porque
that had
salió de
battled
una
on Earth,
célula.
and when fully evolved, would become unstoppable.
And with their
Perfect
DNA,
Cell,
Cell absorbed
perfecto.
all their powers and techniques too.
Common among all of them is the power to manipulate ki, or the energy that exists in all living things, and weaponize it to fire energy blasts, fly at faster than light speeds, move things with telekinesis, and create force fields.
From the humans, Krillin and Tien, Cell knows the multiform technique, Destructo Disc, and the Tri-Beam, his extra special favorite. Oh, weird, I'm not seeing Chaozu on this list. Sorry, bud.
Is Chaozu human?
Oh.
What the
Okay.
hell?
Cell can fire the Death Beam, as well as breathe in and travel through the vacuum of space with the alien genes of Frieza and his
Frieza.
father.
And because he's got Piccolo's DNA, Cell can regenerate humongous damage to his body
Oh.
at the cost of some keys.
Cell
Este no
has
era-
survived
bueno.
having half his body vaporized multiple times, and cannot be destroyed unless the small cluster of cells at the core of his being is eradicated.
Should that little bugger survive, Cell will always return, even stronger than before because of the Saiyan DNA he got from Goku and Vegeta. Definitely the cream of the genetic crop.
Sure, he can perfectly replicate attacks like the Gallic Gun, Spirit Bomb, and of course Kamehameha, as well as teleport by locking onto a living being's key signature.
But the
Ponte,
best part
ese
of
es el
me,
meme.
Kamehameha, as well as teleport by locking onto a
Ese es
living
el meme
being's
de
key
Ponte
signature.
Verga.
Ponte verga.
The best part of being a Saiyan is how much crazy stronger they get every time they almost die.
They can even
Sí
evolve to
conocen el
become
meme de
orders of
ese, de
magnitude
Cell de
stronger
Ponte,
in the
¿verdad?
midst of battle. Combine that with Cell's healing factor, and he is effectively the ultimate warrior.
Like a perpetual shonen motion machine.
Driven by a biological imperative, Cell wanted nothing more than to devour Giro's previous androids, 17 and 18, believing it would make him perfect.
Only one
Android
problem. The
18 es
Cell
la
we
waifu
know
de
was
todos
born in
de
the
muchos.
future, and both
Yo no lo
17 and
conozco, así
18
que
had been
no.
destroyed. So he murdered Trunks and went back in
Trunks?
time. Not our Trunks, future Trunks. Well, not future Trunks, but another future Trunks. It's very complicated. There's like
Sí.
5 timelines.
As Cell defeated and absorbed the
Ay, yo no
androids,
conozco
he
Dragon Ball.
evolved, not only getting stronger, but changing his personality and developing a lust for battle.
He became less creepy bug serial killer and more, well, Saiyan. After exploiting that very
Qué
Saiyan
suicida,
arrogance
cara.
and warrior's pride, Cell finally became perfect.
And easily
Perfect
dominated
Cell.
Trunks and Vegeta, the latter of whom had decades of battle experience under his belt.
Perfect Cell's power was off the charts. He could threaten the whole Earth just by powering up. With a full power Kamehameha, he was even capable of destroying our entire solar system.
While the vast majority of our solar system's mass is located in the sun, this still means that Cell's key wave would have to reach 2.8 billion miles to eradicate every planet.
Whiz, maybe he was just exaggerating.
Not likely. Cell's claim has been backed up in multiple guidebooks and even demonstrated outright in the video games.
Cell's
una
even
10.
stronger in the anime adaptation, considering the time Frieza blew up Namek. In the anime, the explosion was literally hundreds of light years wide and lit up the friggin' galaxy.
And Cell was far stronger than Frieza was at that point in time.
Hell, the Namekians could sense him all the way from a different galaxy and thought he might be a threat to the whole universe.
He's also
What?
incredibly fast, capable of blitzing even
Cell
the
es
strongest
un-
Z fighters at the time. Goku flew from Grand Kai's planet of heaven all the way to hell, hundreds of billions of light years
Cell es
in half
peligroso.
a minute. And that was in his base form.
Yeah, that's cool, but how about the power to squeeze mini Cell Juniors out of your butt?
Ay,
What?
tía.
Never heard of that key technique?
Eso no
Call
me
it
lo sabía.
the Kegel.
Qué asco.
Perfect Cell was entirely without peer and, no longer wedded to Giro's petty grudge, decided to prove it with a tournament.
The Cell Games! And if Goku couldn't even beat him, what hope did anyone else have? Vegeta couldn't even handle a Cell Jr.
Their last hope was Goku's own son, Gohan.
Gohan.
After Cell arrogantly let him power up,
Maldecía.
Gohan unleashed his
no,
rage,
ese no era.
pushed the bug monster to his
En ese
absolute
momento,
limits,
Cell
and
sintió
beat
el
him.
verdadero
Wow, Cell,
terror.
you really are
Creo que
related to
es ese.
Vegeta, aren't you?
In truth, Cell was a victim of his own success. The same Saiyan genes that made him all-powerful also sowed the seeds of his defeat.
Oh.
He got so mad he even blew himself up.
Oh,
Maybe he
por
does
Dios.
have some Chaozu in him after all.
Even that wasn't enough to totally put him down, and he came back with the
Nah,
same
man,
Super
just-
Saiyan power-up that Gohan had just unlocked.
Super perfect Cell.
Super
Now
per-
with more
Cell
lightning
super
in a
perfecto.
battle for the ages, Cell put the entire weight of his biological programming
Dios.
against one lone Saiyan and went the distance.
But in the end, it still wasn't enough.
Ah.
No matter how brilliantly Dr. Giro copied the Z Fighters, he still couldn't quite figure out their knack for going beyond.
What can be destroyed can always be rebuilt. All
Ah,
it
no
takes
manches.
to recreate the most fearsome warrior in the universe is one single cell.
A veces es inmortal.
Hey, real quick, did you
Okay.
know Death Metal launched
Oh
our
my god, no, cállate, no, cállate.
and over time and again the world. Time and again, the world and its cuddly forest critters were threatened by the evil and oval Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik.
And time and again, that same world and those same critters were saved by Sonic the Hedgehog. No matter how many robotic
Aguántenme. Ok, ya volví. Puse mi ventilador atrás de mi compu para que no se ande sobrecalentando, pero bueno, continuamos.
badniks the good doctor threw at his blue spiky nemesis, his schemes were always 6 spin jumps to the glowing wing spot away from getting cracked and scrambled.
But it wouldn't be over easy for Eggman. If he couldn't defeat the Blue Blur, he would make his own, Metal Sonic.
Metal.
0 points on creativity for that name, but god damn, he does look metal as hell.
They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so Eggman built Metal with more than enough blast processing to match his prototype.
Metal can zoom
Prototype.
around at massively hypersonic speeds, fast enough to fly to nearby planets in seconds.
He's tougher than Eggman's standard equipment, some of which can survive
¡A la madre! Like, le gusta destruir Sonic y esto y odia Sonic, 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 Sonic. Ah, lo odia,
Metal
además.
can use all of Sonic's power-ups and even replicate his classic spin dash and light speed attack.
But he's got moves of his own.
He can attack with energy blast, fire a chest laser, surround
Whoa.
himself in an electric aura, or an
Whoa.
impenetrable force field.
By overloading his circuitry with energy, Metal can activate V Maximum Overdrive, quadrupling his acceleration and obliterating anything in his path, at the risk of self-destructing.
You'd think all that'd be enough to turn the rodent into roadkill, but it only took one showdown on Stardust Speedway to send Metal to the scrap heap.
On paper, Metal should be able to outmatch Sonic in every way, and yet he doesn't. For some reason, Eggman wasn't able to capture that ineffable quality that makes Sonic the fastest thing alive. Metal's defeats at the hands of Sonic and his friends sharpened his AI into a seething hatred of his rival and a burning desire to prove himself superior.
Yeah, well, when you're getting your supersized red ass handed to you by Charmy B, you know something's gone horribly wrong.
Metal's defeats gave him an existential crisis.
What?
If he was created to surpass Sonic and couldn't even manage that, what was he? Why should he exist?
Never wanted
bueno.
to admit defeat, Eggman took Metal back to the drawing board and birthed him anew. You.
This Neo Metal Sonic was, above all,
Neo.
far smarter.
Especially after he copied Eggman's intelligence and took over his empire. And
Oh.
I mean, literally copied. If Metal started as Sonic's copycat, why not hunt all of his furry friends down and copy them too?
Neo Metal Sonic is equipped with scanners in his optic receptors that can copy a person's biodata, giving him the ability to recreate all of their abilities in seconds.
Like the Sonic Boom, Knuckles' Hammer Punch, Tails' magical swiveling asshole, and Big's ability to suck at fishing.
Metal isn't just learning their moves, he can replicate more esoteric powers like Silver Psychokinesis, manufacture Rouge's mechanical bat guards, or alter his very biology to copy Espio's chameleon invisibility. It's worth mentioning that biological data is a real scientific term and can refer to molecular structures like the genome sequence within a living organism's DNA.
Yeah, his copying is so busted, it doesn't really matter that he's a robot made of metal. If you can do it, so can he. Probably helps that he can shapeshift and regenerate his whole body from a puddle.
Likely by copying one of the mightiest beings on the planet, the god of destruction, Chaos.
Not the
Chaos.
only chaos he's encountered.
By scanning the ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog, he gained his ability to manipulate some of the most powerful artifacts in the universe.
You mean the Chaos Emeralds?
Yes.
Obama.
The emeralds contain an infinite wellspring of mystical power and life energy. With them, Metal can perform Shadow's chaos control. He can teleport, warp, and distort space, boost his speed, and stop time. And with either the Chaos Emeralds or Master Emerald, he can transform into Super Neo Metal Sonic.
Completely invulnerable and completely golden, Super Neo Metal Sonic can move at faster than light speeds and has the power to move continents.
The emeralds are inconceivably powerful. They've been used to fuel Eggman's Death Egg, which could obliterate star systems.
On their own, they can even create and destroy whole universes.
Other super characters like Sonic have battled and defeated beings like the Time Eater, who could destroy multiple dimensions and timelines in seconds.
Sí, no he
At their
jugado
peak,
tanto
3
Sonic.
super hedgehogs have even fought Solaris, who nearly consumed
So,
Sonic's entire
Ay, qué fix con
multiverse.
ese
So
Eggman.
Super Neo Metal Sonic
Está feo.
should be just as powerful as any of them. Though he's gotta be quick, because all that power only lasts a short time.
The road to
Oh.
total domination was nearly at an end. After manipulating Sonic and friends and copying their abilities, Metal eventually combined their biodata with the mighty Egg Fleet and became Metal Overlord.
Complete
pues
with
es gigante.
missiles, giant crystal projectiles, and the strength to match 3 supersonic heroes all by himself, Overlord is all-time final boss material.
And he knew it. His ego might as well have had its own health bar. Metal's drive to surpass his rival had morphed into the delusional belief that he was the original and Sonic the loathsome copy.
A copy that Metal had finally outclassed. All
Yeah,
the heroes
los
Metal had
derrotó
gathered
a
had
Sonic,
to
no
team
fue
up to take him
derrotaron.
down.
He
Wow.
may have stolen their abilities, but Metal never possessed the thing that made the Sonic heroes successful: their friendship and teamwork.
Aw,
Wow.
how cute! Gag. Probably should have added
Dad.
some of those goddamn rails to the final boss fight, because it is impossible to land on those things. After getting trashed again, Eggman reprogrammed Metal to purge any bits of rebelliousness from his code.
Metal returned to being the Eggman Army's chief enforcer, always proving invaluable as the Bad Doctor's greatest creation, now completely obedient once again.
I don't know, Wiz. Who knows what's really going on behind those glowing red eyes? Maybe Metal is more cunning than he lets on, and is only biding his time until he can take over again.
Maybe the most powerful thing that Metal copied was the ability to lie.
Mentir.
Hey, I'm Chad.
Okay.
Copy capped. So
Okay.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
it's time for a death battle!
¿Cuánto que gana Cell? ¿Cuánto que gana ese vato? Si gana Metal Sonic es como, what the hell, ¿cómo? Pero si gana Cell, pues pues nada, pues se pudo saber desde la introducción que puede revivir una y otra vez. Es que Metal Sonic tiene como, digamos, problemas de ira. Así que lo más probable es que gane Cell. A ver, déjame entenderme.
Oh no.
Perdón. Grafo Cruz. Ok. Eso no cuenta, ok. Vale, ok. Digamos. Si sale cara, le voy a Cell. Si sale cruz, le voy a Metal Sonic. Ok. Pues salió Metal Sonic y se trabó mi compu. Ah, no, mentira. Oh, what the fuck, empezamos así.
Salutations, Dr. Robotnik. Your reputation precedes you. Bring me your strongest fighter, or face... Then prepare to kneel before your master.
Esa es la voz de Double Artemis, que también hace algo relacionado con Cell. Vamos a ver. Animation. No, Double Artemis no, pero sí, no. Cell. Ah, no, Double Artemis sí hace la voz de Cell. Pues era obvio. Ah, bueno. Va. Ah. Pues. Ay. Ah. El escudo. ¿Qué? No sé, está saliendo peso.
Tell me, does a machine like yourself ever experience fear? Not anymore!
Oh, tremendo. ¿Tan pronto? Claro. Oh. I can see... what the fuck? Se transportó todo el maldito huevo, toda la nave.
Fool, you're dealing with the ultimate life form.
Hostia.
Already possesses data. Observe. Chaos!
Slow. Oh.
Life form data successfully copied.
Oh. Copió las habilidades del Cell.
It'll take more than that to kill me, puppet!
Ah, se me olvidó que podía hacer eso.
I know. Now I know everything about you, insect.
Es un meme. Hostia. Oh. Ay, qué. Estos son los mini cells. Sí, le copió. No puedo quitar tanto, mi papá está durmiendo.
Don't you dare.
Mosh. What the hell? Se volvió a regenerar. Hostia.
I am not just the greatest warrior in the universe. I am all of them. If you are all of them,
Perfecto.
then so am I. I'll never lose to a machine like... I'll crush you.
Espera, ¿en serio ganó? Por Dios, ¿en serio ganó Metal Sonic?
Oh, now Metal's got all the powers of the Chaos Emeralds and the Z Fighters?
Por
Well,
fin.
that world's fucked. Our bad.
Cell may have been one of the greatest threats in Dragon Ball Z, but Eggman's greatest creation ultimately proved too much for him.
Por fin
Let's break this
ganó
down
una
into
que le
4
iba.
categories: strength, speed, abilities, and adaptation.
O sea, de todos modos al inicio le iba a Metal Sonic porque era el que más conocía. Y luego también pues fui la moneda y salió Cruz y ese era Metal Sonic, pero
First up, who was the strongest? Well, it's no surprise that any version of Cell was gonna be way more powerful than base Metal, or Neo. Even just using the manga, blowing up a solar system is far beyond the level of power output Metal can match.
Without his stronger forms. With them, the power gap entirely reversed. Not only could Metal match Cell's solar system busting or scaling from Frieza, but he could surpass it with the universe-destroying power of the Emeralds.
But hang on, Wiz. Those Namekians said that Cell was strong enough to threaten a universe on his own.
They did, but they didn't specify how, and there's nothing suggesting he could destroy it in one go.
Punto
Especially
vergo.
since it's only brought up theoretically and without any time frame.
Even being generous and assuming he could just blow it up, final bosses like Time Eater and Solaris can destroy the wider multiverse, and Super Neo Metal would scale to them. Metal Sonic takes the edge in strength.
And with Sonic characters being known for their speed, you might think that was an easy win for Metal.
At his max speed in his super form, he should be comparable to entities like the Time Eater, who in Shadow Generations can destroy entire universes in seconds. By using the radius of the observable universe, we can
Billion
estimate
light
the Time
years.
Eater's destructive wave traveled at about 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
Certainly impressive,
my.
but let's compare that to Goku's flight from heaven to hell shortly after the Cell games, which covered roughly a universe in distance at approximately 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
Hey, just like Time Eater. The difference, though, was that Goku was in his base form, way slower than Super Saiyan 2 Gohan or Super Perfect Cell.
Factoring in Super Saiyan multipliers, Super Perfect Cell can move upwards of 100 times faster than that, and so 100 times
Es más
faster than
rápido.
Metal Sonic. Somehow, Cell takes the edge in speed. You know, the thing Metal was designed for.
Wasn't expecting that. Let's see if any of their abilities could tip the scales.
They shared many of the same powers, like telekinesis, force fields, and energy projectiles. Of note though, Cell's regeneration was clearly superior, able to fully heal from a single cluster of microscopic cells.
On top of that, Cell's Saiyan genes would let him grow in power every time he almost died, and his Cell Juniors gave him the numbers advantage.
And considering Super Neo Metal had a time limit, Cell would have a big advantage in a battle of attrition.
But with Chaos Control, that became a lot tougher.
Cell and his juniors had no way to deal with Metal boosting his speed or stopping time, something that countered Cell's speed advantage and left him open. And with Silver's psychokinesis, or the Emerald spatial distortion, Metal could seriously impair Cell's healing.
So it helped that Cell could fall back on his martial arts abilities in a pinch.
Despite effectively being a newborn, Cell's genetic instincts allowed him to best Earth's most skilled warriors back to back to back.
Metal may have copied Eggman's brains, but he definitely isn't as good of a fighter. The Sonic heroes haven't trained like the Z fighters, and Metal's been beaten by all of them a bunch of times. So all that in mind, abilities is roughly a wash.
Which leaves us with the one thing they're both known for: their capability to evolve and become more powerful in response to their opponents, aka their adaptation.
Pues
And
Metal
frankly,
Sonic.
that's where this back and forth completely breaks. Because at the end of the day, Metal can copy Cell, but Cell can't absorb Metal.
Cell's ability to physically absorb an opponent is primarily viable against foes he can match or overpower.
Even if he took Metal by surprise, he can't absorb fully inorganic robots like Android 16.
Cell was only able to absorb androids 17 and 18 because they were primarily organic.
They're actually more like cyborgs and are only called androids in the English translation.
Metal, on the other hand, can copy a target's biodata through only a few seconds of direct eyesight, something he could easily accomplish during a time stop.
And using it on Cell means he wouldn't just get Cell's powers, but the powers of all of the Z Warriors too.
Oh, no, pues estaría
Metal's
bien
copying
cañón.
applies to abilities that fundamentally affect his own biology, like Espio's invincibility or Chaos's liquid body. Nothing Cell has would be off limits, especially given all of Cell's powers were genetically encoded in the first
Básicamente,
place.
Metal
Quite
Sonic la
literally
tenía
biodata.
regalada.
Cell's Saiyan power-ups? Copied. Cell's regeneration? Copied.
Oh.
Cell's key techniques? Believe it or not, copied.
Chaos Emeralds
No,
are
no.
described as being able to produce life energy, similar to Ki. So there's a precedent for him being able to replicate Cell's power set. And at this point, there's nothing stopping Metal from, say, stopping time and using a Kamehameha to vaporize him at a cellular level, just like Gohan did.
Cell might be able to do anything the Z Fighters know how to do, but that's not gonna help him, cause Metal can do anything Cell knows how to do. Strange, isn't it?
Cell just doesn't have any options to retaliate that Metal wouldn't also possess, including any of his previous advantages. Metal's copy ability is just that overpowered.
Oh, I guess now I get why they called it Sonic CD.
Why's that?
Cell died.
Bah.
Where's he? You get
No.
it? CD? Where's,
Ya, para.
Where you go? Come on back.
Pues sí, están bien malos,
Next time
Vinci.
on Death
Oh,
Battle.
¿qué sigue? What? ¿13? Wait. Ese es... Oh, no manches.
Subscribe and join as a
Bakugo versus Reze. Flor a cada rato va... mi amiga va a cada rato le va a ir a este vato. Lo más probable es que gane Reze porque... No sé, yo no he visto la peli, todavía no. La quiero ver, pero nomás no... Nunca he pensado en verla. O sea, la tengo disponible para ver, pero nomás no. Y pues como que ya vi My Hero Academia técnicamente. Pero bueno. Nice. Por fin ganó el que le iba. O sea, en el de Spider-Man contra Midor, Deku también le iba a Deku y ganó, pero ahí me lanzaron spoilers, así que ya bueno, ahí se ven. Nos vemos en el próximo video, que tal vez sea otra reacción. Sí, ya tengo otra reacción preparada, pero bueno, ya basta, ya.